Welcome back with another video on TryHackMe.com. This is Zahin Nazir and we are doing CICD and build security on DevSecOps learning path. We are back. This is fourth video. I think we are on fifth task. So as you can see, a strike is again 0. That means we came back after 1 day. And what I needed to do all the steps from setting up to task 2, 3, and 4 in order to reach task 5 and be able to resume from task 5. We already have 1 hour and 45 minutes left, so let's get into it. Everything else is the same. As you can see, the IP addresses are the same. Even the mother IP address, which was 250, is the same. So guys, if I'm going too slow or too fast for you, you can use YouTube player setting to increase or decrease the play speed. Okay, so up to your convenience. Okay, so let's get into it. This is task 5. Hopefully we'll be able to do task 5 and 6 in this video. I want to create a 30 minutes video, so it is convenient for you to watch and follow along. Okay, so let's get into it. Task 5. Excuse me. Securing the build source code security. As mentioned in the introduction to pipeline automation, we covered this part before. You can check the playlist to see that. Source code security rooms. We also covered the source code security room in this playlist, so you can check that as well. The first step to securing the pipeline and build is to secure the source. That is correct. In the event that a threat actor can compromise the source of our build, they are in a position to compromise the build itself. That is very true. We want to protect our source code from the following two main issues. Unauthorized tampering. This is the simplest issue of the two. Only authorized users should be able to make changes to the source code. That is very correct. This means that we want to control who has the ability to push new code to our repo. And then the second one is unauthorized disclosure. This is a bit more tricky. Depending on the application, the source code itself might be considered sensitive. For example, Microsoft would not like to disclose the source code of the Word since that is their intellectual property. Yeah, that is true. In cases where the source code is sensitive, we must ensure we do not intentionally disclose it. This issue is a lot more common to find. पहले तो ये है कि कोई जिसके पास एक्सेस नहीं है वो हमारा सोर्स कोड ना चेंज कर सके. दूसरा ये है कि सोर्स कोड कोई देख ही ना सके. Here comes the discussion of open source and closed source. Okay, nowadays everything is open source. Word and other proprietary softwares are still closed source. Okay, but people are moving towards open source technologies because you can scan the code and you can see what is is inside it, and if there is any vulnerability, you can just scan it and make sure you deploy the stable and vulnerability-free code as much as possible. Confusion of responsibilities. Okay, let's take a look at exploiting an insecure build source. Okay, a common mistake made in the larger organization is believing that the perimeter is a sufficient security boundary. I mean, अगर क्योंकि हम GitLab कर रहे हैं तो इसका मतलब है GitLab ऑलरेडी आपके सिक्योरिटी पैरामीटर के अंदर है. That means it will be only accessible within the company's network and it is not available to public user or the outside of the network. Like TryHackMe.com is a global site. You can access it outside of TryHackMe network, right? It is published to end users. But the GitLab, where your source code will be stored, should not be published. We are considering should not be published outside your network, and that's why we are considering that it is perimeter. It's sufficient security boundary. I mean, because it is available only within the network of your organization, so we say that it is sufficient security because nobody else can access it. But although the perimeter plays a role, it should not be seen as the only boundary. Granular access control on the internal network should be implemented as well. That is very true. Who can access, who cannot access. And there should be authentication as well. For example, we need to track who is checking in the code if he's allowed to check in the code, does he have any kind of permission to do that, or if his project duration is completed, so we should revoke his access, right? So these kind of things we need to control. This false belief can lead to interesting misconfigurations. Let's take a look at a practical example. Sure, some organizations are incredibly large and have multiple teams, business units responsible for different things. If we take an organization such as a bank, many different teams and a unit work together to run the bank. Furthermore, in large organizations like this, it isn't as simple as just saying that we have an IT business unit, as there may be several teams working on many different IT and development projects within the bank using a wide range of coding languages. That is true, CICD pipelines and build frameworks. Such large organizations may choose to host their source code internally, since much of that development may be intellectual property, IP, we call it IP, or closed source. While we would hope that access to the various source code repos would be managed granularly, mistakes do creep in. Okay, क्योंकि टीम्स काफ़ी ज़्यादा हैं और मुख्तलिफ लोग काम कर रहे हैं सेम टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर, कुछ डिफरेंट लैंग्वेजेस यूज़ कर रहे हैं, तो हर एक स्टैंडर्ड्स मैनेज करना मुश्किल काम है। आल दो के स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन होती है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, लेकिन फिर भी समटाइम सोर्स कोड रिपोज मिसकन्फिगर्ड हो जाते हैं और कुछ ना कुछ कभी ना कभी कोई अनट्रेंड रिसोर्स जो है वो कोई ना कोई मिस्टेक कर सकता है, right? So how to avoid these mistakes? So this is our main concern here. One such mistake is that organization can leave decision for their GitLab instance open, not open to internet. Although this has also happened before. डिसीजन ओपन से मुराद है कि कोई भी बंदा आके डिसीजन करा सकता है, अपना यूजर क्रिएट कर सकता है, इवन दो ही डोंट हैव any business to access the GitLab. He's not developer. He just can create the new user and use it. और जो डिफॉल्ट परमिशंस है वो इसको मिल जाएंगी, जिसका मतलब है कि वो कैन पोक अराउंड कि क्या चीज़ें अवेलेबल हैं बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट, और वो आपके सिस्टम की अगर कोई मिसकन्फिगरेशन हुई है, कोई पब्लिक आपने प्रोजेक्ट बनाया हुआ जो कि प्राइवेट होना चाहिए था या इंटरनल होना चाहिए था, राइट? अगर इस तरह की मिस्टेक कहीं पे की हुई है तो वो जो है एक्सप्लॉइट की जा सकती है. But open to any user on their internal network to register a profile. This was simulated in the previous task by allowing you to register your own GitLab profile. We had registered our own profile in our previous task, as you remember. Go watch 7.3 video. Some would consider this not to be a direct risk, but let's look at how the attack surface grows. Attack surface से मुराद है कि जैसे आपका डोर है, राइट? एक डोर जितना बड़ा होगा उतना, फॉर एग्जांपल विंडो वुड बी नाइस एनालॉजी. सो फॉर एग्जांपल जितनी ज़्यादा विंडोज़ होगी उतना ज़्यादा कोई पत्थर मार के आपकी विंडो का शीशा तोड़ सकता है, या ये हो सकता है कि जितनी ज़्यादा विंडोज़ होगी उतनी ज़्यादा आपको केयर करनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि आप अटैक सरफेस बढ़ा रहे हैं. अगर सिर्फ एक ही विंडो है आपके दरवाजे आपके कमरे की, तो इसका मतलब है कि सिर्फ आपको एक विंडो के ऊपर फोकस करके उसको सिक्योर करना पड़ेगा. अगर ज़्यादा है तो अटैक सरफेस, जितनी ज़्यादा विंडोज़ होगी उतना ज़्यादा अटैक सरफेस होगा. तो दिस इज़ व्हाट दे मेंट हियर. फॉर एग्जांपल, bank organization might have 10,000 employees, of which 2,000 may be working as developers and need access to the GitLab. In essence, our attack service has grown by 500% if a single employee of our bank is compromised. तो I mean, ज़्यादातर इन हाउस अटैक्स होते हैं इस तरह की चीज़ों में कि कोई फॉरेन एंटिटी जो है आपके एक एम्प्लॉय को कंप्रोमाइज़ कर लेती है. इट कुड बी अ ब्लैकमेल और समथिंग, और आई मीन इट कुड बी एनीथिंग. तो अगर आपका एक एम्प्लॉय भी कंप्रोमाइज़ हो गया, जो वो आया ही इस मकसद के लिए कि वो इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी आपकी चुराए या कोई और इस तरह का काम करे, तो आपका जो अटैक सर्विस है वो विल बी ग्रोन बाय 500%. An attacker would have the ability to register a profile and exfiltrate any publicly shared repos. एक्सफिल्ट्रेट से एक्सफिल्ट्रेट बेसिकली टर्मिनोलॉजी है जिसके अंदर आप जो है डाटा कंप्रोमाइज करने के बाद आप डाटा जो है वो चुराते हैं, उसको एक्सफिल्ट्रेट कहते हैं. ओके. If we are not tracking, for him it is a legitimate operations, right? He is inside your network. He is a legitimate employee. He just registered and copied all the public repos that were there. Okay. This is the second misconfiguration that comes into the play. Developers of our bank may believe that because the GitLab instance is only accessible internally, that I explained before, it is okay to configure repos to be shared publicly. No, it is not. This means that any user who has a valid GitLab account will be able to view the repo, while they may perhaps not be able to alter the code. Remember, in this example, the code itself seen as the IP of the bank. Okay. Maybe he will not be able to alter the code. He don't have the permission, but if repos are publicly shared, that means he will be able to see the code. And if he can see the code, that means if it is your intellectual property or closed source system, that means there is a breach, right? This confusion between who is responsible for securing the source code can lead to sensitive information being disclosed to the threat actor. Let's take a look at how this can be exploited. Okay. अब exploitation हम देखेंगे कैसे exploit किया जा सकता है. Maybe we need to replicate the steps as well. But let's see. You have already registered a profile on the GitLab instance. While you can use manual enumeration to find sensitive information in the repo where you are on a red team, you will need to automate this process to ensure stealth and efficiency. Stealth से मुराद है कि कोई alert ना आए, और efficiency से मुराद है कि कम resources में या कम time में ज़्यादा data जो है आप get कर सकें या ज़्यादा effectively आप काम कर सकें. We will not be teaching both in this task for obvious reason. Red teaming नहीं बताना चाह रहे, लेकिन there is a learning path for red team as well. Maybe in the next or in future, I will do the red teaming as well. I had created a couple of videos on my previous channel, but maybe I will revisit the red team learning path as well. So let's look at how we can make the process efficient. To efficiently enumerate publicly visible repos, we'll make use of the GitLab API and a Python script as follows. ये Python का script आ गया. We'll take some time to see what it actually does. Import GitLab, इसका मतलब GitLab की कोई library जो है वो import की जाती है UID. Import हम करवा रहे हैं library. उसके बाद create a GitLab connection. GL जो है is equal GL नाम आ गया वेरिएबल का, आगे is equal to GitLab डॉट GitLab जो है वो लाइब्रेरी हम यूज़ कर रहे हैं. लाइब्रेरी के अंदर फंक्शन है, उसको हम URL पास कर रहे हैं, ये ग्रीन वाला. उसके बाद प्राइवेट टोकन जो है हम पास कर रहे हैं. आई थिंक वी नीड टू क्रिएट दिस टोकन इन ऑर्डर टू पुट इट हेयर. एंड देन GL डॉट ऑथ कॉल कर रहे हैं. इसका मतलब है कि हमारी जो GitLab का इंस्टेंस उसके साथ ऑथेंटिकेशन हो जाएगी, और कोई टोकन जो मिलना है, रिफ्रेश टोकन और समथिंग लाइक दैट, और ओथ टोकन, वो हमें मिल जाएगा और ये इस प्रोग्राम में सेव हो जाएगा. गेट ऑल द GitLab प्रोजेक्ट्स, हम प्रोजेक्ट्स लेके आ रहे हैं. GL डॉट प्रोजेक्ट्स बेसिकली ये GitLab की जो लाइब्रेरी है उसी से हम कर रहे हैं. डॉट लिस्ट ऑल इज इक्वल ट्रू, जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट हैं सबकी लिस्ट हमारे पास आ जाएगी. फिर हम enumerate ऑल प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड ट्राई टू डाउनलोड ए कॉपी फॉर प्रोजेक्ट इन द प्रोजेक्ट्स. प्रिंट डाउनलोडिंग प्रोजेक्ट प्लस प्रोजेक्ट का नेम हम बता रहे हैं, प्रिंट कर रहे हैं ताकि हमें पता लगे कि हम किस प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रहे हैं. गेट ए UID टू अटैच टू द प्रोजेक्ट टू अलाउ अस टू डाउनलोड ऑल वर्जन ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट विद द सेम नेम. अच्छा, ये इंटरनल चीज़ है जो कि रिसर्च करके हमें पता लगे कि हमने कौन सा कोड जो है वो कॉल करना है. तो बेसिकली इसके लिए क्या चाहिए, UUID.UUID4 जो स्ट्रिंग में कन्वर्ट करके UID पे डालना है. प्रिंट कर दिया हमने. उसके बाद ट्राई कैच एक्सेप्शन जो यूजुअली होती है, ट्राई एक्सेप्शन यहाँ पे होती है पाइथन में. रिपो डाउनलोड प्रोजेक्ट डॉट रेपोजिटरी अंडरस्कोर आर्काइव. अच्छा, फॉर्मेट हम उसको बता रहे हैं कि हमें जिप फॉर्मेट में रेपोजिटरी जो है करंट जिसके अंदर हम आए हुए जो प्रोजेक्ट हमारा करंट है उसको जिप फॉर्मेट में डाउनलोड कर दे विद ओपन. अच्छा, ओपन कर रहे हैं हम प्रोजेक्ट नेम प्लस अंडरस्कोर ग्विड जो हमने या यूआईडी यूनिक आईडी जो है हमने जनरेट की है, डॉट जिप की है, और डब्ल्यू बी राइट कमांड के जरिए राइट बाइनरी आई थिंक एज आउटपुट फाइल एंड आउटपुट फाइल डॉट राइट रिपोर्ट डाउनलोड। जो रिपोर्ट डाउनलोड किया है बेसिकली उसको हम एक फाइल बना के और उसके अंदर जो है हम राइट करवा रहे हैं। अगर कोई एक्सेप्शन आ गई तो ठीक है, बेस्ड ऑन द परमिशन वी मे नॉट बी एबल टू डाउनलोड द प्रोजेक्ट। अगर अगर प्रोजेक्ट जो है वो पब्लिक नहीं है, मे भी इधर कोई इफ एल्स कंडीशन हम लगा सकते हैं। अगर प्रोजेक्ट पब्लिक है तो फिर डाउनलोड कर लेगा, प्राइवेट है तो ना करे। लेकिन क्योंकि हम एफिशिएंटली सारे प्रोजेक्ट मूव कर रहे हैं तो इसलिए ये सारे ही प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर अप्लाई करने की कोशिश करेगा। बेस्ड ऑन परमिशन वी मे नीड टू एबल टू डाउनलोड द प्रोजेक्ट। और प्रोजेक्ट डाउनलोड हो गया ठीक है, नहीं तो फिर एरर आएगा, एरर प्रिंट करके हम पास कर देंगे। इसका मतलब है कि नेक्स्ट इटरेशन पे चला जाएगा। एक्सेप्शन में हम ब्रेक नहीं कर रहे, पास कर रहे हैं, इसका मतलब वो नेक्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट पे चला जाएगा अगर कोई एक्सेप्शन आ गई। इन केस ऑफ ट्राई अगर ये डाउनलोड हो गया फिर भी हम नेक्स्ट चले जाएंगे। ओके, सो दिस वाज ऑल द कोड। Make sure to install the GitLab pip package using this one. Okay, before we run that, I think I need to do one more thing, which was basically to install. No, there's nothing here. I wanted to see if I needed to install. I needed to install any version of Python or not. Yeah, this one. I did not install it, but it's still, I mean, everything is running fine here. So, let me see. I will still run it in any case. Okay, so make sure you already completed this step from the previous task, which I've done it. I just remembered that I needed to run done it. So I have done this already. I'm scrolling down to task 5, where basically what we need to do is we need to install the Python. pip3 is the package manager. In this case, it should be already there. What is that? No. This was not what we were looking for. जो क्योंकि हमने ये रन किया है तो मेक श्योर डैट के जो भी कमांड्स आप रन करते हैं इन सीक्वेंस जो है वो कमांड्स जो हैं उसके अंदर आप डालते जाएं ताकि हमें पता लगता जाए, राइट। अच्छा, इसमें कुछ कमांड्स मिसिंग हैं जो कि मैं अभी कॉपी पेस्ट कर देता हूँ। फॉर एग्जाम्पल जहाँ पे हमने कॉन्फ़िगर किया था तो वो कमांड्स मैं कॉपी करने वाला हूँ। अच्छा, इससे क्या होगा, इससे फॉर एग्जांपल आप किसी भी स्टेप पे आप कंप्लीट नहीं कर सक पा रहे और आपने दोबारा इस स्टेप पे आना है तो बजाय इसका कि सारी चीज़ें आप दोबारा रन करें, आप बेसिकली कमांड जो है वो कॉपी कर लें ताकि आपको पता हो कि आपने क्या किया है ऑलरेडी। इसके बाद आपने एक कमांड और रन की है go here, जो कि लास्ट वाली है, तो I'm gonna paste it there, ठीक है। इससे पहले मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, so I'm gonna put it here, ठीक है। सो आई ऑलरेडी नो, क्योंकि कमेंट्स डले में तो मुझे ऑलरेडी पता कि मैं किधर हूँ। अब मैं टास्क 5 पे हूँ, राइट। और इधर भी मैंने एक कमांड रन की है, सो आई एम गोना गो देयर और ये जो कमांड है ये मैं कॉपी ये यहाँ पे पेस्ट करता हूँ और सेम चीज़ मैंने यहाँ पे भी डालनी है। और paste. Okay, it is downloading, it is installing. Okay, running pip as a root, a user can result in broken. Yeah, it could run into broken permissions, but I think उन्होंने सब कुछ जो है वो टैग बॉक्स के लिए ही किया है. We already in 20 minutes into the video, but we need to complete this task, man. Okay, let's continue. Make sure to install the GitLab pip package using this one. Okay, we have done this. As mentioned before, the script provided is not stealthy. Rather than first determining which repos are publicly available, it recovers the entire list of all repos and attempts to download each of them. This shows an example of how a threat actor can easily recover all publicly available repos. Feel free to play around with the script to introduce stealth. As you will see, line 5 of the script requires a GitLab authentication token. GitLab does not allow for its API to be interfaced with using credentials, as this is deemed insecure. Therefore, to use the script, you will first have to generate an API token for our account, authenticate to GitLab server, and perform the following step. Click on your profile icon and select preference. तो प्रोफाइल हमारे पास ये रही, and then preference. Okay, we are here. What we need to do here? We have done this. Click on the access tokens. We clicked on it. Enter the name of the new API token. Select the API, read API, and read repository scope. API, read API, and read repository. Okay. Xfill token name ने डाला है. Xfill से मुराद है exfiltrate. Xfill expiry date कब की डालनी है? Then I put it 31, right? We need API, read API, and read repository as well. Fee token we don't need to do, and create personal token. I think there is nothing else. Click create personal token and reveal and copy your access token to save location. Sure. अच्छा, ये टोकन जो है access token for API. अच्छा, ये टोकन जो है आपके लिए डिफरेंट होगा. सो यूज योर ओन टोकन. एंड जब ये क्रिएट हो जाता है उसके बाद आप इसको एक्सेस भी नहीं कर सकते. ये बस इसी वक्त के लिए एक्सेसिबल है. So just copy it. Okay. Add the token to the script and execute all the repo. Okay. सबसे पहले तो enumerator.py जो है स्क्रिप्ट हमने कॉपी करना है. ये रहा स्क्रिप्ट. ऑलराइट. अच्छा, इसको अब हम एक फाइल में डालते हैं और mouse pad. We don't have mouse pad, so we'll install it. Mouse pad. Or we can install Visual Studio Code. What do you say, guys? So we need to execute few commands. Okay. So in order to do that, just search for how to install Visual Studio Code on Ubuntu. How to install Visual Studio Code, Ubuntu. There will be a couple of commands that we need to run, and we will be good to go. This is a very, very nice IDE where you can manage a lot of things. We don't have the dev, so we're gonna just go and execute all of this. Hopefully it will work without any issues. Let me do mousepad as well. Should not take much time. Visual Studio is my preferred way of doing the things because it gives you a lot of things built in, and it's good for developers as well. ये mousepad काफी टाइम लगाते हैं ना। ये हमारा अटैक बॉक्स ही जो है इसकी कॉन्फ़िगरेशन थोड़ी सी CPU और रैम वगैरह कम है। That's why. All right, everything's work fine. It is installing in the meantime. Let me copy this, all of this, to make sure what I have done exactly, right? So this is what I have done. Install Visual Studio Code. If you don't want to install, it's okay. You can use Vim in order to proceed further. But for me, I prefer to have Visual Studio Code because it makes your life a lot more easier. All right, we are back. Let's see our progress. Yeah, it is done. So we'll just do code dot and it will open the Visual Studio Code. What happened here? What happened here? Did we install code as well? Okay. I think we did not run the last command, which is sudo apt update and sudo apt install code. Yeah, we didn't run this one, I think. It will take a couple of minutes, and once it is done, we are good to go. In the meantime, we can do one thing, by the way. We can open the mousepad. It is opened because it don't have zoom in and zoom out. At least for now, I am not able to figure out how to do that. So, in the meanwhile, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy paste the code here. I'm gonna save it, and this gonna be on the root, and this is a numerator.py. All right. So what we were gonna do is we need to change the private token at least. So I'm gonna get my private token, which was here. And I'm gonna replace it here. All right, and save it again. Now script is okay. Everything's looking good. What I need to do, I think I need to close it in order to use it. I will close it. Let me increase the size of this one. Okay. And now let me run it. So in order to run, you just mention Python 3.9 and the script itself, and let's see what happens here. Okay, we'll run it in the root folder, as we don't care about the attack box where the files are going. We are just practicing. So it is Python 3.9 and our script, which is this one. Oh, so it is running. It downloaded the basic build Zahir, approval test, merge test, basic build, mobile app. So all of this source code is there. If we do ls, and you can see we have all the source code in the zip file with the UID, the GUID attached to it. So for example, if we have a project with the same name, so because of the GUID, I will still get the unique zip file downloaded here, right? Our visual still is updating or doing something, so let's move on. I mean, the mousepad was okay. Even you can use Memo Nano for this. Okay, now we have successfully downloaded all the publicly available repos. At this point, there are several ways you can look for sensitive information. The easiest would be to extract all repos and run a grep for specific keywords such as secret. Make sure to read through the available repos to find the hidden secret flag. Okay, so we need to read through all of it. So let's do that. I'll open the file explorer. Which is just open here, and we have all of this. Let me see if I can extract them. Extract here. So all of these are here, and we can read through the files. Basically, just open the file and you can read through the file. I don't see anything here. Translate.py. Oh, this is the code we can use. I don't see any kind of flag here. All right, it's just a code. So let me move away from it. Merge test. Oh, there is a Jenkins file. Update. I don't see anything here. I don't see anything here as well, which is kind of flag. README we already know. This is the website code. I don't know if we need to open everything here. Title is this one. Do we have flag here? I don't see any flag here. Login. I don't see any flag here. Flag will start with THM, right? And we need to find a way. Oh yeah, there is a flag. I think we already know about this flag, right? Welcome to CICD pipelines. Yeah, we have done this already. So this was the build. Then there is a mobile. Oh, there is a lot of files. So maybe we will use the grep way to scan for all the files. So let's continue. Maybe they will tell us how to do that. Such as secret. Okay, we'll see. Securing the build source, general access control is crucial to managing repositories and GitLab platform. It involves defining specific permissions and restrictions for different users or groups, ensuring that only authorized individuals have the appropriate level of access to sensitive resources. Yes, we don't need to make all the repos as publicly available, so nobody can run the automated script, even though the registration is open. This helps maintain security, confidentiality, and effective collaboration within a development environment. That is very true. In GitLab, group-based access control is a powerful mechanism that specifies permission management across multiple repositories and projects. Here, how it works. We already in 35 minutes, so I'm gonna continue to go through these tasks. Once we complete it, then we're gonna start a new video. Okay. Group-based access control, GitLab allows you to organize projects into the groups. Instead of managing access for each project separately, you can set permissions at the group level. This means that same access rules apply to all projects. That is very true. It will reduce the burden of configuration on your DevOps team within the group, making it easier to maintain consistent security policies. For example, you can create a group for the development team and define permissions such as who can view, edit, or contribute to the project within that group. This approach streamlines access management and reduces the chances of error or oversights when configuring permissions for individual repository. That is very true. Access level, GitLab offers different access levels such as guest, reporter, developer, maintainer, and owner. Each level comes with specific capabilities and permissions. Assigning the appropriate access level to each user or group ensures they have the necessary privileges without granting unnecessary permissions. Sensitive information protection. One critical consideration is preventing the accidental exposure of sensitive information. GitLab provides features to help with this. GitLab.getIgnore. This file specifies which files or directories should be excluded from version control. It's crucial for preventing sensitive data like password, API keys, configuration files from being committed to the repository. Okay. This .NET ignore, get ignore is available in any Git repository. Okay. It depends upon your IDE or something. Some IDE that you are using, if it complies with the getignore, and don't check in the files which are mentioned in the getignore. Otherwise, it's also the responsibility of the developers which are working with the sensitive data. Okay, so that they have default getignore file in their project, so nobody check-ins the sensitive data such as password, API keys. We know that from our previous lecture that even though you check in your password first time and then you revert it back, those changes, still the password will be maintained within the history of that repo. So once you check in, there is no going back unless you delete the project itself. Okay. Environment variables. GitLab allows you to define and manage environment variables securely. It is available in all, I think, DevOps tools separately from source code. This is especially useful for storing sensitive data needed during the CICD process without exposing it in the repository. Yes, an environment variable can be created by a specific role, for example, DevOps role, and it will not be available to the developers. So this is where the secret management solutions come, which is built into the GitLab. Branch protection. Branches like master or main can be protected to prevent direct pushes, ensure that changes go through code review and automated testing before merging. This is also very true. For example, some specific team leads can merge the code into the specific branch, for example, master branch or production branch, and nobody else can push the code to the branch itself. So you can, for example, protect the branch from illegal or direct pushes from developers. Okay. Remember, maintaining the security of both the repository and GitLab instance itself requires consistent vigilance and best practices. Review and update access permissions regularly as team members change roles or leave the organization. Yeah, that is very true. If somebody leaves, remove his access. Implement two-factor authentication to add an extra layer of security to user accounts. Use SSO, for example, Azure AD or something like that, where the two-factor authentication will be global, and you don't need to maintain the built-in authentication. So this will help you maintain the security of the solution globally on the organization wide, and you will reduce the attack surface. Okay, if you have too many logins to maintain, that means you are creating or extending or increasing the attack surface of your solutions. Okay, monitor audit logs to track who has access or modified repositories and products, and if you have any kind of SIEM tool which will alert you if somebody is doing for example, somebody is deleting the branch or somebody is trying to do illegal operations, so SIEM solution can alert you as well. Like Splunk or SIEM solution like Splunk or anything on those lines. Regularly scan repository for sensitive information using tools designed for this purpose. Obviously, if you have such tool, try to use it. Okay, so we are end of the task here. We just need to answer a few questions and we are good to go. Which file specifies which directory and file should be excluded for version control? Yeah, git ignore. .git ignore. All right. Yeah, they mentioned dot, so we know this is the answer. Oh, we strike one again. What can you protect to ensure direct pushes and vulnerable code changes are avoided? What can you protect? Branches? We can branch, right? What can be branches? Yeah, I think branches. I'm not sure, but yeah, okay. What issue does lack of access control and unauthorized code changes lead to? It leads to there is a specific wording. It is either unauthorized tampering or disclosure. Let me revisit the question again. What issue does lack of access control and authorized code changes lead to? Either tampering or the other one. Yeah, it was tampering. What is the API key stored within the mobile application that can be accessed by any GitLab user? Okay, either we can do manually or let me see. Do we have any key here? Or we can use a grep command to see everything, or there is a setting. What do you say? Properties maybe. There is some. Okay. So what we're gonna do is let's use the grep command to search for all the files, and maybe there is some secret key we need to see. Okay. So let me do that. So in order to do that, we are already inside the folder. So I will open the terminal here. So there is a command we can run to get the files here. Get the to scan all the files here. So I will run grep, then R parameter, and then we need to mention what we are looking for. So usually the flags are with the THN, right? Hopefully, yeah. So we find it in the Docker file, and this is the key we were looking for. I hope this is the key. And we will put it here. Yeah, accepted. So guys, thank you very much for joining me on this journey for task 5. We'll see you in the next video. If you have any comments, any suggestions, please put down in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We are targeting 1000 users by the end of August 2024. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.